3 premierships, and I won more premierships alone than the other 19 managers together. 3 for me and 2 for them. Respect, respect.
The night lights of Istanbul once burned for him. When José Mourinho stepped into Fenerbahçe's world, it was more than a signing, it was an awakening. The city embraced him like a returning emperor, draping him in hope, chanting his name as if summoning destiny itself. After all, this was the special one, a man who had bent football to his will for 2 decades, a master. Of the impossible, a tactician whose shadow loomed over an entire generation of managers. This was not just another coach. This was the architect of miracles. From the rain-soaked night in Porto where he conquered Europe, to the golden age at Chelsea where he shattered the Premier League. Order, and declared himself special. He was the man who turned words into weapons, press conferences into battlegrounds. At Inter Milan, he performed the unthinkable, a historic treble, cementing his name in eternity. At Real Madrid, he waged war against the most dominant Barcelona in history and emerged with La Liga glory, breaking records like glass. Even at Manchester United, in an era of decline, he delivered silverware, Europa, League Cup, Community Shield, trophies others only dream of. At Roma, when Europe's elite scoffed, he gave them history, their first ever European trophy in 2022. Everywhere he went, he collected medals, moments, and madness. Over 26 major trophies glimmer in his cabinet, more than most managers dare imagine. He wasn't just a coach, he was a storyteller, each triumph another page in an epic saga that felt immortal. But football is a cruel theater. Yesterday's king can become today's exile in the blink of a whistle. And in 2024, the curtains rose on what many thought would be another act of glory, Mourinho to Fenerbahçe. The announcement shook Turkey like an earthquake. The Istanbul giants believed they had secured a prophet to lead them to the promised land. Mourinho, with that glint in his eye, promised ambition, European nights, domestic dominance, a siege on Galatasaray's throne. The stage was set for one last masterpiece. The opening months were pure drama. His presence electrified the Super League. His words lit headlines on fire. Press rooms trembled under his charisma and his fury. When Mourinho spoke, the world listened. Because he did not whisper, he roared. But whispers of discontent grew louder with every controversy. A referee blasted here, VAR slammed there, and then, the moment that went viral across the globe. A sideline altercation with Galatasaray's coach escalated, and Mourinho, in a bizarre gesture that felt plucked from Shakespearean theater, reached out and pinched the man's nose. Cameras caught it. The image ricocheted across social media, a meme before the final whistle blew. To some, it was vintage José, defiant, unapologetic box office. To others, it was a sign, a genius slipping into caricature. And then came the guillotine. Europe. The Champions League was not just a target, it was an obsession, a beacon for a club yearning to return to the elite. 2 legs against Benfica stood between Fenerbahçe and the dream. 2 legs, 1 goal, and that goal never came. A 1-0 aggregate defeat felt like an execution. The night in Lisbon bled hope from Istanbul. By dawn, the verdict was written. Fenerbahçe and José Mourinho had parted ways. It was August 29, 2025, barely over a year after his dramatic arrival. No farewell tour, no standing ovation, just a cold announcement, a line in the news ticker. And so, the Titan falls again. Another chapter closed, another empire crumbled. Yet even in this fall, the numbers stagger. A reported severance that pushes his lifetime sack payouts toward £100 million. Think about that. A man paid as much to leave as others are to stay. And as the ink dries on his Fenerbahçe contract, the speculation begins. Rangers? A Premier League return with West Ham or Nottingham Forest? A pilgrimage back to Portugal? Or perhaps the gold-laden dunes of Saudi Arabia? But the question that lingers, haunting and irresistible, what is José Mourinho now? Is he a relic of an era long gone, or a gladiator waiting for one last fight? For 2 decades, he ruled football with iron fists and silver cups. He didn't just win. He dominated, outwitted, outshouted, outperformed. He gave us nights to remember and quotes that echo in eternity. And yet here he stands, or perhaps kneels, at the crossroads of destiny. Time has humbled even emperors, but legends? Legends never die. Maybe this is not the end. Maybe the king will rise again, draped in another color, roaring his truth to another stadium under another sky. For now, the lights dim in Istanbul. The chants fade. The special one walks alone into the shadows, carrying with him the weight of triumphs past and the burning question of tomorrow. Is the final chapter already written, or is history waiting for its greatest twist yet? Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos.